Alright guys, so I want to talk about maximizing clear. So someone sent me a video of some very interesting stuff, and I thought it was nerfed in 0.2, but it turns out it's actually not nerfed. They didn't nerf it. And this was developed by some Amazon player back in 0.2. And I don't know who it is, but if you guys know who it is, make sure you tag them in the comments section. But someone linked me a YouTube video from a guy named Bruddah. And Bruddah was using this disgusting tech called the Herald of Blood, Herald of Plague chain. Now, Herald of Blood and Herald of Plague chain off of each other if you put the right support gems in them. So if you put Herald of Blood and Herald of Plague together, what happens is you jump into the enemy starts to bleed, then they explode and they spread poison. Then the poison spreads through Herald of Plague. So you jump in, cause the bleed causes poison because they blow up because of the Herald of Blood. And then, to top it all off, the poison spreads through everyone, and it leeches life at the same time. So you're able to leech life. This is basically Herald of Ash, except it leeches life, and it poisons enemies at the same time. And then the poison spreads. It's so disgusting. Like, what a disgusting mechanic. I don't know why Grinding Gear didn't nerf this. I mean, yeah, I didn't come up with this. Like I said, this is someone back in 0.2, some Amazon player I think was playing Spearfield, and they were using this. But this is disgusting, and it works on Warrior too. It's absolutely horrendous. So I'm going to go through two things with you in this video and explain to you how to maximize your clear if you're playing Warrior. There's two things you can do to maximize your clear if you're playing Warrior. The first is using this Herald of Blood, Herald of Plague, and the second one is using Herald of Ice. And this stuff all works with your fissures. So it combos with your fissures. So you're able to combine your crater with this bleed tech. So the bleed does work with these fissures when the fissures go off. So anyways, if you guys are new here, I am not a Twitch guy. I'm just a regular guy. So if you're curious about how any of this stuff works, you can go back and watch my previous videos. This is a whole series that I've been doing. But the first one that I just want to talk about in this video is the Herald of Blood, Herald of Plague. And as you've seen at the start of this video, if you need to go back and watch it, these will chain off each other. So if you want to maximize your clear, put these two together. Now if you're using these, it's probably best to remove your branching fissures, because poison and bleed work off initial hit. So the higher your initial hit is better. And branching fissures lower the damage of your initial hit. So that's something to keep in mind. So it says like 30% less damage. That's something you gotta be aware of. It does 30% less damage with the fissures when you have branching fissures on. So if you're gonna run this on your leap slam, you probably want to just use Crater. You could still use branching fissures and it'd be fine. But I'm using both poison and bleed in my leap slam to spread around loads and loads of poison. And I'm still using the aftershock. I think either one would be fine. I think you could switch in branching fissures or aftershock here, and it would still be good. You could also take out the Holy Descent if you don't feel like you need it. I really like Holy Descent, but that's just me. I just really like the Consecrated Ground, so it's entirely up to you if you want to run that or not. But it also works with your totems, which is a very interesting interaction. So you jump in, you throw out these things, and you put down a totem. Now these totems bleed and poison. So this is really, if you're a Totem Andy, and I was a Totem Andy big time last patch, this is really useful for you. Because if you're causing bleed and poison with your fissure, and then you use your totem to proc your fissure, it's still proccing bleed and poison with these fissures. So, because it's not proccing off the totem, it's proccing off the fissure. So if the fissure is imbued with bleed and poison, you are able to spread bleed and poison with the aftershock from your fissure. So this is very, very interesting and very useful. So I think if you want to maximize your clear, I would probably use these two things together. I mean, this is pretty like overtuned. You really don't need it. But if you want to use it, you can. So you just run this poison bleed stuff, and then you run this leap slam and put the, I was running poison. You probably could just run just bleed, but I was running poison too because I really like the Herald of Plague spreading out, and this works really good. It's a shame that the poison nodes are so far away on the other side of the tree, but maybe if you wanted to run this like more aggressively, you could maybe get some megalomaniacs or like anoint things or whatever it might be. Like this, like this would be crazy if you combined it with like maybe like a couple of these nodes. I think like both of these nodes are pretty good. That's a crazy node. They added that one this patch, immune to poison. Building toxins, probably this one, escalating toxins, I think would be pretty good. I like poison builds a lot, so and this one might be pretty good too, but they're pretty expensive, so maybe if you found them on like a cheap megalomaniac, most people probably aren't playing poison builds, so you might be able to get those pretty cheap. But yeah, that's number one. So I'll take you through the ice tech too, because Herald of Ice also is really overpowered for clearing, and it has been. And I didn't develop Herald of Ice either. I think it was Alex back in 0.1. But I'll give you guys a quick breakdown of how that works too. Okay, so I'll show you here what the interaction is. There's an interaction with this pulse circuit ring, and again, I didn't come up with this. This was, I think, Alex back in 0.1. But you combine it with cold attunement. It used to be called cold infusion, but now it's cold attunement. And when you combine this ring with cold attunement and Herald of Ice, I don't have any support gems in it. Maybe I should put one in there. Well, let's give it a magnified effect, I guess. So you pop magnified effect in there, and there's some other support gems you can put in here, like cold penetration is a great one, just for as an example. Like there's a bunch of really good support gems you can put in this Herald of Ice. Cold attunement is one of them as well, apparently, so that's also good because that'll give you more cold damage with the skill, so that would probably be a great one. And then maybe cold penetration as well. I would probably add cold penetration as like a third slot, and you probably only need 3 in this skill, so you just run this as opposed to, and you don't need Herald of Plague, obviously. I was just showing you that. You don't need Herald of Plague either. You can literally just run this by itself, just as your Herald of Ash, just like your Herald of Ash used to be like kind of what you used through the whole campaign. In the end game, you can switch to this. So, you know, if you're kind of later in the game, you can start using this tech with the cold attunement and the pulse circuit ring. If you're struggling with clearing enemies and you just want to use some strats that makes enemy clearing a little easier. So how that works is you can see that it also works with your fissures, like I said before. So it combos with your fissures. And when you land on a pack of enemies, they just kind of explode when it freezes them. You gotta find some more enemies. There just isn't enough. I think grinding your servers are having problems. They just try to boot me out of the game. So yeah, you just jump in, and then your Herald of Ice just does Herald of Ice things, which has been balanced forever. If you don't know this, Herald of Ice has been broken since 0.1. For some reason, grinding gear never really nerfs it. It seems like they've tried, but it's still busted. So you can still use this. The added benefit with this is it slows enemies down. So while you're doing this, the enemies are just moving a little slower, and then they'll be less dangerous. So I think this is just as good as the Herald of Blood tech. The difference is that the Herald of Blood tech will give you life leech, which is, I think, a very nice quality of life thing. So I would probably use the Herald of Blood and Plague. But if you wanted to run Herald of Ice with Time of Need, I think this would be a good combo too, because then you could also run Time of Need in this slot. So you'd have your Herald of Ice instead of your Herald of Fire. You would have your Time of Need, and you could just run these two combined with this ring and a good source of cold damage. So cold attunement is ideal for that. So yeah, that's what I would do if you were going to run this. This, like I said, this has been around forever. I didn't come up with this. This is Alex, I think, back in 0.1. And if you don't know who that guy is, you should probably go watch his stream, because he's pretty funny. I watched a bunch of his streams back in 0.1 when I was just kind of starting out learning this game, and he was always really funny to watch. But he loves this tech, and I think he uses it like every season. So if you want to use this, you definitely could. Herald of Ice combined with the Porcelain Ring and the Cold Attunement, and then just add good supports, Magnified Area, Cold Attunement, and probably Cold Penetration, I think would be like a great third option in this third slot. So that's probably what I would do. But that is pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, like I always say, just throw them in the comment section below. Again, this is just a place for normal people who like video games. So if you're a normal person who likes video games and you have a question, just put it in the comment section below. And for all you chads out there that watch my videos that are like level 99, just like give people advice, man. People really appreciate the advice you give them. And I know you guys like spend a lot of time playing this game, and you have a lot more time than I do, and you know a lot more than I do. So just make sure you give them advice if you can, because people really appreciate that. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys on the next one.